This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. In front of me I have Frédéric Brouca, who's joining us all the way from Faugères. How are you today, sir?
Very good, very good. Thanks, Jimmy.
So tell me a little about your history in the wine industry and how you came to be making wine in Faugères.
So I have a different route. It's like the passion of wine that brought me to a winery. I've always wanted to be a farmer and later in life a winemaker. And like for 15 years I've been a wine broker for Burgundy wineries. And in 2012 we were able to purchase what we are envisioned, 25 acres of all vine vineyards in Faugères, in the Languedoc region.
And you said it had been certified as organic since 1997?
1997, so it's the first Faugères and the oldest winery to be certified organic in Faugères.
Now, why was organic so important for you?
Why organic? Because I grew up with a mommy that was everything organic and lots of doubts about chemicals. I grew up on the countryside in northern France, and I see some change in the nature. You know, it's like now it's a big thing about there is no more birds, and for sure we don't have birds anymore. Yeah.
Now, why Faugères? Was just the price was right, or did you already have a connection to the Languedoc?
No, I had no connection in Faugères. I had tasted like 2 wines maybe from Faugères. Obviously, son grand honneur Didier Barral and Claude Dufou. And I knew the appellation, I knew about the schist, and yeah, for me it was like the 25 acres of all vines with a winery to rent, and the price was right too. You know, it's a third generation farmer. Demands like a fairly large amount of cash. Yeah.
Right, I can imagine. Now, what does Faugères mean to you, and what do you believe should come through in a wine from the region?
So I think for me Faugères means mountains, means schist, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Means Grenache, means Carignan, and compared to places in the rest of the Languedoc, I would say it was very green. We have like those what we call chêne vert, and those chêne vert, like green oak, are smaller type of oak.
Yes, yeah.
And they remain green, they keep their leaves, and I don't know, I find that the plants were a bit more happy in that part. Yeah.
And what would you say the biggest challenges are when it comes to making quality wine in Faugères?
It's to grow grapes. The concept of winemaking is you make a good wine with a good, healthy, ripe grapes.
And do you have any disease pressure that worries you at all?
So this year we had like mildew. We lost about half of it.
Oh, really?
When you are into organic farming, you have pretty much to accept it. So it was like a big change for me in life. You know, again, I realized that Mother Nature is stronger than us. We refuse, obviously, to use some chemicals, but I think again we need to adjust, and when we have a good vintage we need to put a bit some wine on the side for the vintage that's not going to be as generous with us.
Now, you come from a kind of business and finance background?
So wine brokerage, I have a master in finance,
right.
In corporate finance, but I went back to school to become a sommelier, to learn about wine, and I became a freelance wine broker.
So were any of those skills transferable to your newfound passion for winemaking?
So yeah, knowing the marketing aspect of wine, and you know, I've met like maybe thousands of sommeliers in my life.
Yes, yeah.
You understand what they are looking, what are the price points, how we make things differently, you know, and maybe I arrive at the right time with like the right wine or with the philosophy. It's like yeah.
Speaking of philosophies, how would you describe your personal philosophy when it comes to winemaking?
Again, it's to bring like healthy fruits, right, to the winery. We use only native yeast, so we are going to make everything possible to have those yeast happen. Those are going to be the one that works, that are going to do the work, and if they're unhappy, they are going to send us a message like H2S reduction, some volatile acidity, and we have like pretty much like couple of hours to react. So we warm up, we decrease temperature, we bring more oxygen, but it's a personal relation. Maybe I have like 6-7 tanks fermenting in the winery, and every day I spend some time with each of my tanks, and I have another sommelier, I have my manager too. We taste the wines twice a day to make sure that there is no signal about our yeast that are not happy.
You were saying that you place a great deal of importance on the bouquet that your wines are giving off, and quite often the nose of the wines is very important for you, the perfume.
The perfume is very important indeed. I find working with native yeast, for sure we don't have like those type of super expressive wine. Yeah. But just the nose give us like a huge indication, and then we are really working, at least for me, on the acidity level and on the texture of the wine.
And you mentioned that you don't really have that much wood in the winery at all.
No, we have I've never been a big fan of oak, and I find that it's a very sunny area of France. We get already lots in the grapes and the grape skins, and I don't find the necessity to add oak and age the wine for 24 months. It's not my...
I understand exactly what you're saying, because every time I go down to the Languedoc and discuss many of the wines with other media and sommelier, we always talk about, we think it's a great shame that so many bad oaking decisions were made with many of the wines there. But speaking about the Languedoc as a whole, as a region, what do you see as the future for Languedoc? You were saying you find it quite exciting right now, some of the new, the younger winemakers who are really changing things up down there.
I think Languedoc, the history or the modern history is getting written right now. Languedoc is lots of older family with very large properties. That's the wine that we have seen on the export market the last like 25 years.
Yes,
we have the co-op that owns, that control, I would say, half of the production.
Is that what it is today, about 50%?
Yeah, 50%. I would say they are not going to be happy if they hear that, but they are not doing a good job, like the smaller farmers. Why we have done cooperative in the 1930s, it's not in line with what they are doing. Like, I think kids of those growers don't want to be growers, and I think at this point, when you see the privilege that we have to have all vines in a beautiful region, and that your kids don't want to continue the tradition, it's like we need to ask ourselves some questions. But the good thing, it's like we have young people coming, foreign people coming to buy those vines that are ready to be passed over. So yeah, there is lots of good energy in Languedoc.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with Good Food Revolution today. Really appreciate your time, and hopefully I'll see you in Languedoc next time.
Lovely, anytime. Thank you.
Superb. Bye-bye.
Bye.